Welcome to the workshop of Dionysus. In this video I'm going to talk about two sorts of aulos reed and why it's really important to relish and savour both types. Not just because Theophrastus tells us about them, writing in the late 4th century BCE, but because it really helps us in the revival as learners at every stage of the journey to have these two different sorts of reed. So what are they? The old style that Theophrastus tells about was called aplastos. And you could translate that as unbendy or non-plastic, okay? And the bendiness you could also translate as kinkiness, okay? So they're the non-kinky reeds, okay? The ones that predate Antigenides. Okay, so Theophrastus is lovely and clear. Here we are in Andrew Barker's translation. Before the time of Antigenides, when they played the aulos without, and he translates it elaboration, but he explains that that is plastos or plasticity, and so the Greek word plastos is the same as the English word plastic. Okay, it's all about the plasticity or the flexibility, and in this context it's maybe helpful to think about it as the bendiness, the kinkiness, because what happens and what they're the kind of dissolute a bad reputation of decadent musical style that Antigenides is associated with. It's all about modulation and bendiness, okay, kinkiness. Whereas the old style is more steadfast and more solid and less kinky, okay? So, if you are making a double reed and you want it to be flexible and give you a nice big pitch window, we're talking about pitch windows here, not slits, windows. If you want a easy reed, if you produce an easy reed, it's more bendy. Okay, when I was growing up at Knightswood Novice Juvenile Pipe Band, if my reed got too easy, okay, the pipe major would take it and give me a hard one, because the hard ones have a smaller pitch window and they could get the band in tune more easily. Okay? If your learners all have easy reeds, okay, lovely. Yeah, I wanted, as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, I wanted to play an easy reed. I didn't like these gut busters. Didn't enjoy it at all. I hated playing the pipes. It wasn't fun. So it was a delight when finally I'd kind of broken in the reed and it was playable. Ah, joy. And then the pipe major took it away. So I'm going to really encourage learners and teachers and reed makers to savour both the light reeds and the more professional ones. Okay, so the pipe major, the professionals, they want to play tough reeds. Okay, Luigi Lai plays wonderfully hard reeds. They give them a solidity. Now, you couldn't, another player would not be able to play Luigi Lai's reeds. Okay? Now, Luciano Montigi, making reeds or being sort of coached in reed making for Sardinian Launettes by Luigi, found that the reeds that Luigi wanted were a lot harder than anybody else wanted. Okay, so your champion player, and I think this would be true in the aulos world too, plays harder reeds. Now that does not mean when we set out we should be trying to play hard reeds. It's hard work, okay? I've just been playing these. These are the Plastos reeds made by Max Brumberg and parented by Melinda. Parenting meaning the kind of 2-year process of gradual, careful refinement, scraping. They've been beautifully parented. I absolutely adore these reeds. And what I've done is I've added the sheaths so that Melinda Maxwell, I think, might be the first aulos player on planet Earth in this revival, okay, to have quite a harder, less pitch flexible pair of reeds that I would describe as the aplastos, okay, the non-plastic, non-kinky. They're not macho, but they're the old style, okay, with a smaller pitch window. You've still got a pitch window, but that pitch window is narrower. And then the nice, easy, lovely ones that I would recommend you give to a beginner, because you can learn the circular breathe on these guys. Okay, and maybe if you haven't played for some time and you want to do something that's just a bit easier, or just bend the notes a bit more, then this is the sort of breathe that you want. And that plasticity, that flexibility comes at a price. You have a big pitch window, which is scary. Okay, that big pitch window means that you're at sea. You don't know what pitch you should be playing at, because, again, my pipe major, he took them away because you couldn't play. You couldn't get a band to play in tune with flexible reeds. So, I think they both have their place. They're both important. And I would actually advise every aulos player in the revival to aspire to have both in your reed box. You certainly need more than one pair. Now, if you're going to play, let's say, enharmonic, old style, then maybe you want the hard ones that have the smaller pitch window. If you want to play chromatic stuff and be bending your notes in a kinky kind of way, doing new music, revolutionary chromatic stuff, be progressive, okay, then you want more flexibility. And with that bigger pitch window comes greater responsibility for control. You need to be able to be in charge of that pitch window. You're humouring your reed with the lip. You're making it do what you want, because it's not the whole boring of your aulos that gives you the scale. It's what you do with the wet part of your lip and in your mind. So you hear the scale that you want to produce, and that's what comes out just by magic. No, by hard work, by dint of training and effort. So you put in the hours going through your drills of all the different sort of kinky, bendy stuff you might want to be doing, and you learn how to do that by training in exactly the same way that a violinist putting finger down on a string. You know, the scale that comes out of a violin is not determined by the maker of the violin or by the person who tunes the strings. No, it's determined by where you happen to put your finger down on a fingerboard. And I'd like to suggest that the aulos player's lips are like the violinist's fingers. The scale you produce, totally up to you. I hope you enjoyed that. Aulos playing is a wonderful, 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 wonderful thing to do. Just remember, there are two sorts of reeds. There are the plastic ones that are lovely and flexible and maybe a bit easier to play. And there are the aplastos ones that are a bit more maybe associated with a noble style. You can't do the same kinky bending, all right? And they're actually a bit more stable. And each has its place. Each is important. We want them both. Thank you very much.